You know what? Screw it. We're gonna actually start with that because I think that's more fun. But yeah, I'm gonna tier list all of the NFL teams currently, where I think they sit in the NFL. I think that'll be fun, personally. So you can see here, oh my gosh, these people think they're getting free advertisement from me. What the heck? So on your screen, gosh, political ads too? Like, dude, I'm not political. Oh gosh, I need an ad blocker. See, that's where your money will go on the show, an ad blocker. Ugh. So I have the tier list. I only have 5 tiers today, but when I was word, they kind of got a little more different every week. However, this is what I have right now. Super Bowl contenders, playoffs, potential wild card, bad, and really freaking bad. We're going to start off with the Cardinals. This goes in alphabetical order. The Arizona Cardinals. Here's the thing about the Arizona Cardinals. They are a very, very fun team to watch. I like what Jonathan Gannon is starting to develop with that team. I think Marvin Harrison is going to eventually find his own. I think Kyler Murray is a very underrated quarterback. I think he's a top 10 quarterback in the league personally. Just based off talent. It's not like where he's at right now. I think talent-wise, Kyler Murray is a top 10, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. However, they're not good. They're not a great team. The problem with them is their team is so incomplete that there's nothing else really going on with them. They have Marvin Harrison, James Conner, and Kyler Murray really kind of carrying what goes on in the offense. Gosh, what is it with these ads? Get away. You don't pay me. Oh, I can't even turn this one off now. Cool. What the hell? But yeah, why is my mouse all sticky? Ew. But yeah, Cardinals, they're a fun team to watch, but I don't think they're even a potential wild card team. Granted, that division is really bad, so honestly, anything could really happen. But I think in the next 2 to 3 years, we'll see a gradual progression through the team, which granted, that's what you hope for any NFL team. I'm kind of being stupid here. But it's one of those things where I think eventually there'll be a contending team. But it's not right now. Secondly, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons. Here's the thing. They're a phenomenal team. So the question is, do I think they're a Super Bowl contender right now, or they're either Super Bowl contenders or playoffs? That's the real thing. And that's where I'm kind of stuck on. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. I don't think they're NFL contender or Super Bowl contenders yet. So I'm going to put them in the playoffs. They're second in the league. Oh, that's tough because I think they're Super Bowl contenders. That's not even. I think they're actively contending for the Super Bowl right now. Getting Kirk Cousins in the offseason has made an apparent change on what the offense does. Even getting Raheem Morris as a coach has completely shifted. You see Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London getting used to their full potential. Atlanta Falcons are easily Super Bowl contenders. I think that defense is phenomenal. There's not a lot of holes on this team. And I think when I look at a Super Bowl contending team, they obviously have to be good. Obviously. Secondly, they can't have a lot of apparent holes on their team. And I can't really think of one off the top of my head that I'm like, whoa, that's a really bad thing. I think the Atlanta Falcons are, that's my reasoning. Next, we move on to the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are Super Bowl contenders as well. Just like the Falcons, there's not a lot of incomplete pieces to them. I think their team is very good. I actually have them being in the Super Bowl. Actually, I think they're one of they're the team in the AFC that's going to make it all the way. Just seeing how well they played, how consistent they've been throughout the season. They're using Zay Flowers a lot more and a lot less with Mark Andrews because it seems like Isaiah likely has taken that role. And there's not a lot of problems with this team. I can't really I mean, they got Derrick Henry. Like their offense, I think they have. I'm going to talk about another team later, but I think they have the best offense in the AFC. Obviously there's another team in the NFC that I think has a very good and well-oiled offense, and I think you probably can predict that. But I think the offense of the Baltimore Ravens is so good that I think you can't not think they won't win the Super or not win the Super Bowl, won't make the Super Bowl. Then you got the Buffalo Bills, who actually just acquired Amari Cooper over last week, which is a great move by them. They didn't really have a cemented wide receiver one. I think there's a lot more holes on this team than people actually. I think their defense is really lacking, but I think they're a very good team still. I'm going to put them in playoffs. I think they missed their window to honestly contend for a Super Bowl. There's not I depending on how Amari Cooper and Josh Allen gel together as a wide receiver quarterback duo, that's when I'll determine if they're Super Bowl contenders or not. But right now, I think they're firmly set in the playoffs. Moving on, the Carolina Panthers, we all know where they're going. They're really bad. They're really freaking bad. And it might be one of those situations where, maybe with their new head coach, eventually they're going to get into a place, but they have nothing. They genuinely have nothing that can be like, oh, wow, the Carolina Panthers are good. Like Deontay Johnson, maybe. Chuba Hubbard. I mean, they got a running back that hasn't even played, but he's apparently supposed to be really good. And Jonathan Brooks, but I mean, their defense is awful. There's genuinely nothing to look forward to watching a Carolina Panthers game. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Chicago Bears. Here's the thing with the Chicago Bears. I think they're very overlooked right now. With what happened in London last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think they have really, really kind of they're finally going uphill. And that sucks for me to say because I'm a Lions fan. But the Bears with Caleb Williams and that wide receiver core, they also have done really well at cementing a good defense. Have really found themselves in a groove. I don't think it's going to stop. So I'm going to but I don't know if they're cemented in the playoffs just yet. I have to see it continue because obviously we've seen a continual gradual growth in Caleb Williams' game, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they'll make the playoffs or not. That's the real question because next week, like Sunday, they could. I think they have a bye Sunday, but next week they could completely fall apart. And I wouldn't be surprised. So they're kind of on that middle, I don't know where to go. Next, the Cincinnati Bengals are bad. The Cincinnati Bengals have not been good this year, even with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and that offense. They're not good. They are awful. I don't really have much to say about them. I think they have the potential to be wrong team. I think they have the potential to be here. But right now, they're not good. They have a lot to work on. I think Zach Taylor's probably going to get fired by the end of the year, personally. And if you have any disagreement with that, please let me know. Sebastian, you know what's crazy? I love football too. Zach Taylor needs to go. I'm going to post that. You know what's going to be crazy? I'm going to make a Photoshop, and when he gets fired, I'm putting a clown face on him. But Bengals are pretty bad. Not really freaking bad. That only goes to a few certain teams, but the Bengals are bad. The Browns, until they move off their quarterback, they're really freaking bad. It seems like Deshaun Watson's more concerned about getting a massage than actually playing football, but like he usually is. I mean, there's nothing new there. Kevin Stefanski's a really good coach, and I mean he beat Dan Campbell out last year to win Coach of the Year. Jeez, that offense is awful, and the Browns are going back to their old ways. Genuinely, the Browns are browning. I mean, that's what you get when you name your team after something that goes in the toilet. I mean, you were up here last year. Now you're back down here, right at the bottom. All right. For all those who are waiting for them Dallas Cowboys, my light just turned off. Oh, crap. That was fun. The Dallas Cowboys. I'm just saying. All right. Before wait. Don't shoot the messenger. Please. The Dallas Cowboys are really fucking bad. I mean, if you saw what happened last week, if you saw what the Lions did to them, you know they're really fucking bad. You know what's crazy? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's what happens when you lose 47-9. You're really fucking bad. I'm not just trying to shit on the Cowboys. I'm not. But when the only good thing about your offense, or your not your offense, your team, is Micah Parsons, and when he's out, you lose that bad. Dak Prescott is a fraud for being able to make that much money. Congratulations to him, because I will probably never make that much money in my life. But geez Louise, they can't get nothing going. They have Jerry Jones is freaking croaking right now, just getting mad at 96.7 the ticket over in Dallas because they got upset that there genuinely has not been a change in how this team has changed progressively throughout the years. You can't tell me this team is good. You genuinely can't. I mean, yes, you can maybe put them here, but nah. The Cowboys get to have their own little tier below everybody else because that's how fucking bad they are. And nobody wants to watch the Cowboys. If you like watching the Cowboys, there's something wrong with you. You either live in Texas or are a Yankees fan. So that's my 2 cents. Broncos, they're bad. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Broncos game that happened yesterday later in the show. But you know, the thing with the Broncos they are starting their rebuild. I think last year was kind of the year they figured out they needed to do a rebuild. I think Bo Nix is eventually going to become a good quarterback. I think Sean Payton and him are going to click in a way that him and Drew. I think the connection between Sean Payton and Bo Nix will become similar to how Drew Brees and Sean Payton were. Not to that level. I don't think Bo Nix is gonna become a Hall of Famer right now. I have not seen anything for me to say that. But I think the connection that they have, the way that they talk to each other, is very similar to how Drew Brees and Sean Payton talk to each other. That's my 2 cents. That defense is pretty good, though. That defense is pretty freaking good with the amount of pieces that they don't have, but they're still bad. All right. The moment you all been waiting for, the Detroit Lions. I'm going to take a swig of water because I'm going to need it. I'm going to need to be hydrated right here. The Detroit Lions. Drum roll, please. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just no, stop it. Stop it. It's not suspicious. I'm not being a bandwagon here. But the Detroit Lions. You know how I talked about the Baltimore Ravens being the best AFC offense? The Lions are the best NFC offense. The running back duo that they have with the David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, they already got nicknames. Sonic and Knuckles. I think that's a pretty cool nickname, but the way that Ben Johnson, the past, I think, 4 years, has been able to completely rewrite the way that Detroit Lions football is looked at throughout the NFL is phenomenal. And Dan Campbell is an amazing coach. He can make me run through a wall, and I don't even play for the team. Like I would run through a wall for this team, even though I don't play. Secondly, their defense has been very good. Granted, they did just lose Aiden Hutchinson to a fibula and tibula fracture. It's a clean break, so he will come back. Clean breaks heal better than like partial breaks. So I think he'll be back. I think he'll play at the same level, but it sucks to have a guy that was going to win Defensive Player of the Year at the rate he was going at this time. It does suck. It really does suck. But get well, Aiden. I think the team is going to go win a Super Bowl for you. I think the Lions are winning the Super Bowl this year, genuinely. I didn't think that last year, but I do think that this year. I think this is their year. I think this is the biggest window they have with how bad a lot of NFC teams are. I think there's a lot of typical contenders that aren't really good with the Bengals. The Cowboys aren't good. We'll get to the rest of the teams, but I think this is the perfect opportunity. This is it's like a maze, and then there's only one pathway. They have finally gotten to the end where I think they have finally won themselves a Super Bowl. They haven't obviously gotten there yet, but I think I think they're winning it this year. Next, the Green Bay Packers. He was going to win Defensive Player MVP. It stinks so bad. Heal up, Hutch. Yes, Sebastian. Heal up. It really does suck because he was on a roll. He still leads the NFL in sacks and QB pressures and QB hits. And he had a bye week and he's injured. He has 7.5 sacks and he leads the NFL. And I think the next person has 5.5 sacks, so he leads it by a decent margin. Next, them Green Bay Packers. I think they're right there. Granted, every team in the NFC North is, you know what? I'm going to be honest. I got to be honest. I'm sorry. I got to be honest with myself. The Green Bay Packers are, with Jaden Reed and Jordan Love being like a pretty good connection, they're very good. That defense is phenomenal. There's a couple holes that I see. I'm not really convinced on Josh Jacobs just yet. Their wide receiver room needs a little bit of work, but they're a pretty good team. I hate saying that, but they're a pretty good team. I'm not going to really talk about them much more because they're kind of in my opinion, the Packers are the most boring team in the NFL. Houston Texans. Here's the thing with the Texans. With their division being so bad, they're going to make the playoffs. But I don't think they're better than I think they're better than the Packers, but I don't think they're better than the Bills. Reason being, I think they have a lot of good talent around them. I just think they haven't really meshed yet. If you understand what I mean, I don't think there's a lot of chemistry just yet on this team. With it being such a young team, but I think there's a very high ceiling for them. That's really all I got. I think CJ Stroud's a dog, but I think they're making the playoffs. Colts. Colts, I think, are a potential wild card. I know I kind of said their division is pretty bad, but the fact of the matter is, with Joe Flacco at the helm, they have looked better than they have with Anthony Richardson. And the problem with that, in my opinion, is it seems like Joe Flacco should continue to start for the team. My thing with that is let Anthony Richardson sit, let him develop. But I'm going to talk about it more at the later part of the show. I think if Joe Flacco stays in for the rest of the year, they will make the playoffs. But it depends. It really does. Jacksonville Jaguars are bad. Doug Peterson's a bad coach. Trevor Lawrence seems like he doesn't have his crap together. They're honestly, they're really freaking bad. It stinks for me to say that because I really like Trevor Lawrence and that team. But they're really I don't think they're going anywhere this year. The Chiefs are Super Bowl contenders this year. Until Patrick Mahomes breaks his leg, I'm not going to doubt this team. Even though I don't have them in the Super Bowl this year, I think they're Super Bowl contenders. If you don't think the Chiefs are Super Bowl contenders this year, you are stupid. The Chargers. I think they're potential wild card. I think the way that Jim Harbaugh has walked in this team and completely flipped it on its head from what Brandon Staley has destroyed, I think they have a really high ceiling. I think just like the Colts, they have a very high potential of making the playoffs, but it depends if they keep this momentum going. For anybody saying that Justin Herbert is no longer a top 10 quarterback, you're stupid. The reason Justin Herbert has not thrown the ball as much this year is because Jim Harbaugh runs a very traditional offense. He likes to have an offense where he runs the ball the major time. That's why you're seeing J.K. Dobbins get tons of love with the ball compared to how he was with the Baltimore Ravens. But, I think genuinely I think their ceiling is to make the playoffs, but right now I think they're just a potential wild card team. All right. LA Rams. The Rams are bad. Until their offense until their two offensive pillars and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp get back, they're not really going to be doing much. I don't think they're making the playoffs. But it all really depends on if Puka and Cooper Kupp get back. That's all I really got to say about them. The Raiders are really freaking bad. They're a rebuilding team, so I'm not really. It doesn't bother me to put down here. Max Crosby seems like he wants out, which I'll also talk about later in the show. But they're a rebuilding team, so they're going to be really freaking bad. Dolphins are also bad. They don't have a quarterback. That's really what's killing them. That's the only thing really killing them. If they had a quarterback, they'd be winning more games. Jen, what do you guys think? Do you think the Dolphins should be bad, really freaking bad, or really fucking bad? I think they should just stay in bad. But the Minnesota Vikings, I've talked about them a couple times during the show, but I think they're kind of a surprising team. No one thought they would be here where they are right now. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders because they're the last team to go 5-0 and not make the playoffs was the 2016 Minnesota Vikings. When was it was the 2016 Minnesota Vikings where they went 5-0 and then didn't make the playoffs. I don't think they've played really a very hard team this year, personally. But right now they're a playoff team. So they have completely kicked down the door. They have cemented themselves right now as a playoff team. I think they'll make the playoffs. New England Patriots. They're a fun team, but they're bad. I think they're with Gerard Mayo and Drake May. Drake May looks good. I think he'll eventually. I don't think this is not a year for them to go win. But this is a year for development. See how Drake May develops, and granted, after his first game, I think that was phenomenal. But they're bad. They're just bad. I don't think they're really freaking bad, but they're bad. Saints, really freaking bad. Yikes. Starting 2-0, losing Derek Carr, and then now you have to deal with Spencer Rattler for a couple more weeks. I'll talk about that game again, like I said earlier. They just don't really have any. They don't got anything for me. But, yeah. Giants are bad. Malik Neighbors has single-handedly saved Daniel Jones's career. I think Malik Neighbors has a very strong career, but the defense is good, but it's that offense that's really holding me back from saying they're a potential wild card team. The Jets are also bad. I don't think they're going to even get much better with Derek Carr at the helm. Or not Derek Carr, Devontae Adams. Wrong Fresno State player. Aaron Rodgers is washed. Like, he is. He's awful. And there's nothing to look forward to with this team. Genuinely. Eagles. Caw. Playoff team. Their offense is phenomenal. Their defense is pretty good. There's a couple holes on their offense, in my opinion. Not their offense, their defense. With their secondary, and then I think their defensive line needs a little work. But I think they're an easy playoff team. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 out of the 14 spots are filled for the playoffs. Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they're a playoff team. Pittsburgh's always been a winning team. Since Mike Tomlin's been there, I think depending on what happens between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, what Russell Wilson does as QB1, because it seems like at this rate he's going to be, that I think they'll make the playoffs. Seahawks, playoff contenders. They look pretty good. I think they'll win that division because that division is really bad. The NFC West is probably the worst division in football this year, maybe besides the AFC South. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 3 spots to fill. Okay, so we have so San Francisco is going to make the playoffs because they're going to find the ground. Buccaneers are really good this year. Baker Mayfield looks like an MVP contender. I think that the Browns are probably kicking themselves for letting him go. But that team is clicking right now, and it's awesome to see. I love the Buccaneers as a team. But yeah, I think they'll make the playoffs. Titans are really freaking bad, but they're not. They're a Super Bowl contender with how many memes Will Levis puts out. Last but certainly not least, my favorite team of the NFL season, the Washington Commanders will make the playoffs. They will win their division, and they will continue the 11 or 12-year train where the NFC East has not had a back-to-back winner of their division. So that's my tier list. I had to go a little quick at the last part because we are already 34 minutes into the show and I gotta speed it up.